What's going on, guys? This is John Zakari, and today I'm coming at you with the second in a series of videos regarding the newest round of console wars. Last time I talked about the Wii U, and today we're discussing the Xbox One. To start off, the Xbox One had a really rough reception after its initial reveal. With DRM policies and requiring the Kinect always be plugged in, gamers just weren't very pleased. Fortunately, Microsoft wised up and removed most of these policies prior to launch. With that said, before I get going, I want to say I currently have no interest in the Kinect, and mine currently sits in the Xbox One box, so I'm not really going to talk about it. There are some features that I am really happy about though, like the inclusion of a Blu-ray player app, and the snap functionalities. The snap can be a bit rough at first when getting used to it, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy and it allows you to do things much quicker. And while these types of features are cool and all, as a gamer, the games are what sell me on a console. And Microsoft did announce earlier this year that they were spending around $1 billion on upcoming first-party games, exclusives, and timed exclusives. So let's see how that helped them out at launch. At this point, I only feel comfortable going into detail about the Xbox One games I own and have played. So as of now, I own most of the major exclusives except for Ryse. I've heard some pretty mixed reviews about the game, all the way from it's awful to oh my god, it's so amazing. Like I said, I haven't played it, so I'm not going to discuss it much. It's certainly visually impressive, as the game seems to run smooth despite all the detailed and dynamic occurrences on screen. The attack animations seem really fluid, and there's a great deal of gore and dismemberment for all the kiddies. But I can't really speak about the gameplay.
We gotta get out of here!
When I buy a new console, it's usually because my sights are set on the exclusives, but I do always try to pick up one third-party game during a console's launch. For the Xbox One, I went with Call of Duty Ghosts. I was at Best Buy grabbing all the other Xbox One stuff I wanted when I saw the latest Call of Duty. I then remembered all the flack the Xbox One version of the game had been getting for having a lower resolution than its PS4 counterpart, and I almost felt bad for it, like it was a mistreated child or something, so I had to rescue a copy. When I popped the game in, I experienced my first issue with the Xbox One. Apparently there's a glitch that can cause games to crash on startup, which will keep sending you back to the dashboard. The fix I found online required me to unplug the power supply, and upon plugging it back in, the game booted up fine. Not too big of a deal, but it would be really annoying if this problem persisted. Hopefully this is something that will be patched in the future. Before I talk about Ghosts, let me tell you a little bit about my background with the Call of Duty series. I honestly have not played a Call of Duty game since Modern Warfare 2, and even that was only for a few hours. The last one I actually played regularly was Call of Duty 4, the first Modern Warfare game. So to say I'm a little out of touch with this series would probably be an understatement, and this is greatly reflected in my abilities in the game. Whether offline or online, I've been getting pretty lit up by my enemies. I'm typically one of those Call of Duty haters that bashes the series for becoming stale as of late, and while playing Ghosts hasn't completely changed my opinions, I do remember why these games can be so fun. Even after repeatedly getting put down like a dog, when somehow I do manage to get my revenge, the feeling is incredibly sweet. Ghosts still isn't really a game for me, but I can see why millions of other people disagree. And speaking of games I'm not usually interested in, if you ever ask me what my least favorite game genre is, I'll always say simulation racing games. Now, more arcadey racers like Mario Kart, yeah, I could play those for hours. But I've never been able to get into the more realistic looking racing games. I bought Forza 5 to have as a benchmark game, something I could throw on to showcase how good games can look on the Xbox One. Surprisingly though, after I put some time into it, I couldn't believe how much fun I was having. And I largely attribute my enjoyment in Forza 5 to the new Drivatar and Rivals systems in the game. While I haven't played much online, you don't really have to, as the Drivatar system makes the computer-controlled racers in career mode behave strikingly similar to the real players you would encounter online. They will box you out, try to run you off the road, and luckily for me, they'll also make some mistakes. This added element makes the offline races so much more exciting, and comes with a wide array of difficulty options to accommodate new racers and build up their skill level until they're ready to take off the training wheels. okay, maybe I'm not ready yet. And the rivals system is what keeps me so addicted to this game. When you start a race, a notification pops up giving you the name of your next rival, another player whose time you're trying to beat. Once you're on pace to beat that player's time, another notification will appear giving you the name of a new rival, and so on and so on. So myself, a person who normally wouldn't want to play these races even one time, am finding myself wanting to play the races multiple times because I want to defeat more and more rivals. This gives the game some serious replay value. If you're someone who's avoided simulation racing games in the past, this is definitely one you should think about checking out. And remember, even if you can't win the race, what's important is that you have a strong finish.
You don't look so good. You okay?
I got bit by something weird bee this morning on the tarmac. Maybe I'm allergic.
Allergic, huh?
Allergic.
Okay, I remember spending countless hours playing the freaking demo for the original Dead Rising on Xbox 360. And before I start talking about Dead Rising 3, just look at how many zombies this game keeps on screen while running at a pretty consistent frame rate. And finally, Dead Rising has ragdoll physics. The hilarious over-the-top deaths they provide never get old in my opinion. The new combo weapons, and for the first time combo vehicles, take the ridiculousness of the Dead Rising series to a whole new level here. And now everything you find and build is stored in safe houses, so you can grab your favorite weapon at any time, as well as customize the look of the game's protagonist, Nick, to turn him into the most badass zombie killer around.
Something's coming in!
And all this can be enjoyed seamlessly with a friend in co-op mode. If you saw my previous console war video on the Wii U, you'll know that, for me, fun gameplay is the most important factor in any game, and Dead Rising 3 delivers on that big time. While Dead Rising 3 provides endless zombie slaying good times, it's not quite my favorite Xbox One launch game. Normally, the only fighting game series I'm really into is Tekken, but I was always a sucker for some Killer Instinct as a kid. The new Killer Instinct is a solid fighter for both fighting game veterans and newcomers. You could easily spend hundreds of hours mastering the robust combo system in order to figure out the most damaging combos in every situation. And the dojo provides noobs with the Killer Instinct basics and can get you dealing out some devastating combos in no time. If you're a fighting game fan, then you'll know that a fighting game's netcode goes a long way in preserving its shelf life. If online matches are laggy, you're probably not going to get much enjoyment out of the game. In my time with it, I found it to be one of the most lag-free console fighting games to date. Sure, it's not going to save you from an opponent who just has a bad connection, but more often than not, you'll be able to pull off those high-damaging, complex combos and refrain from crying, "lag," into your mic. Besides taking a sizable risk by bringing back this long-dormant franchise, Microsoft is also mixing it up a bit with the way you can purchase the game, with a take on the free-to-play model. You can download the game free of charge and access all of the game modes with the default character, Jago, and you have the option to purchase characters either individually or in packs. Personally, I grabbed the Ultimate Pack for $39, which came with the complete game, as well as an emulated version of the original arcade game. And don't forget, when you buy the complete game, you're also guaranteed 2 additional characters by the end of what's called Season 1 early next year. And they are 2 of the most iconic characters in the series, Spinal and Fulgore. We're told that if the game does well, which it currently is, we can expect the roster to continue to grow in the future. And it needs to, because there's one character whose absence is really killing me.
Cinder!
So, I'm making arguments for all 3 next-gen platforms, but I've got to say, as far as launch goes, and I don't deal with that 6-month launch window bullshit, for me, your launch window is the console's first week. And with that in mind, I think the Xbox One has the best launch lineup out of all 3 consoles. And there's still a lot of games on the horizon. I still don't really know what Quantum Break is, but I am really stoked for Halo 5, and of course, Titanfall doesn't even need to be hyped up. So to me, this is one console that you can invest in day one, no pun intended, and have a solid amount of exclusive games to keep your attention as you wait for future titles. Well, that just about wraps it up for this video. I hope I did a decent job of providing a fair argument for the Xbox One, bearing in mind that the console hasn't been out that long and these are just the games I've been able to play. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel for future next-gen gaming videos. As always, I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching.
You shall not pass!